Do people genuinely follow the half your age plus 7 rule? I've seen this thrown around a lot as the standard rule in making sure you're not dating anyone creepily young for you. But personally I feel like it doesn't always work. It suggests that if you're 20 then the youngest you should date is 17. But I feel like most people would consider that relationship grooming. Just a bit confused. I had a Ghostbusters rule. Meaning, when I was single, I wouldn't seriously date anyone born after the original Ghostbuster came out because I found that we just didn't have enough to relate to. Doesn't work for me. I'm 67. That would make her 40. I'm not wealthy enough for that. I'd say try to avoid dating your kids' friends or people their age. But that's because my dad briefly wanted to date my friends when I was in my 20s and it really creeped me out. Other than that, keep it legal and respectful. If they are considered minor, it's probably grooming. However, an 18-year-old can totally be groomed and controlled by a 30-year-old. When over 18, I think it really depends on the dynamic and communication within the relationship. No lol 20 and 17 is not grooming. About 7 years ago I had this very same debate with a guy the first was riding in a car with. He was trying to hit on me and my defense was that I was too young and it violated the rule. We stopped for a traffic jam. Just as the guy was telling me that he thought the rule was stupid. The car was hit by a 50-ton tanker truck going 70 miles per hour. I'm convinced the universe was asserting its stance on the argument, though I never figured out whose side it was on. Just date those that you feel a connection with and don't question it. No need to follow 2-year apart or same music era plus 5.12 rules. Just remember to stay above age of consent. The rule is over 100 years old now. I thought it was invented by XCKD. But apparently it goes back way beyond that. Given how much social norms have changed, I'm surprised that it's still as relevant as it is. When I was 32 I dated a 20-year-old. According to the half-7 rule. She was too young. And she was a very special person who I still think of very fondly. But she needed to grow and experience life. I was into my career and ready to start a family. A couple years later I met my wife who is 5 years younger than I. Been married 20. So it's valid. I have a frontal cortex development rule. Age 25. I think it's an ockish rule to follow I guess, but letting someone go because of it could be a shame. I think what's most important is the stage of life that each of you are in and/or the level of maturity you're each at. If one person is still considering starting or adding to the family and the other is looking forward to being an empty nester and then eventually a grandparent, then that situation may not work. It's just a rough metric. Age doesn't really mean anything, but if you're looking to build a life together, people of different ages generally are doing different things with their life, and generally, that doesn't stop age gap people from having fun together in a short term. Normalize romantic relationships that aren't just about finding the one for the rest of your life. And embrace that we can have fun right now, while we're both on this same path. No matter when it diverges in the future. But I'm high. So maybe I don't know. I've never seen anyone stick to that rule IRL. People date who they want. And have causal relations with who they want. 2 adults can do whatever 2 adults want to. There will always be 1,000 exceptions to a rule. The thing is that it's there to make our lives easier. It's alright to ignore it. Just recognize why it's there and see how the age gap affects your relationship with the person. 27F with 38M. Been together 3 years. We have literally never noticed the gap in any reasonable way. Except when he drops some old ass movie trivia on me. Just be with someone who loves and supports you. I date any consenting adult that I want. Fuck no. I'm 25. And I wouldn't date a 19.5-year-old. It feels creepy to date someone that young at my age. I'm more of a +2 or -2 person. Much older or younger and I have no connection. Female here. I don't fuck anyone I could have given birth to. Work's a treat for me. I don't. I'm 46 and I don't care. I'll date anyone between 25-60. According to the rule my bottom number should be 30. But I honestly don't care. I think the whole thing obviously comes with the stipulation that if you are over 18, they should be as well. Just think about an 80Y. Oh. And 47Y. Oh. Dating. Dating someone that young sounds all kinds of unappealing to me. I don't think it's really about numbers, but mentality, maturity and stage of life. I consider people who are 16 a big no-no. I'm skeptical about dating who is 19 if I was 21. But I don't see the issue if I was 26 and the other person was 24. That rule implies that someone who is 30 could date someone who is 22. I don't think it's that creepy. But a 22-year-old will be most likely in college, while a 30-year-old will be most likely working. Those are totally different perspectives and life experiences. I don't look at age at all when a person is not a minor. I am 20. My girlfriend is 34 and we are very happy together. I don't notice age gap at all and we connect and understand each other very well. No. I'd say people go based on their feelings and making sure that someone is 18 or older. Maturity can also come into play, as an 18-year-old would not be as mature as a 25-year-old. Therefore, someone who is the 25th of May choose not to date an 18-year-old. So as a 42-year-old, I'm married. So wouldn't a 28-year-old? I guess I could. But why would I want to? Maybe that's just some sort of guideline. But in general, different stages of life. A lot of folks in their early 20s wouldn't want to date someone in high school. Guessing there would be some sort of non-linear curve here, but also this isn't really a hard rule. I do like what my 14-year-old daughter told me though, if your grades don't touch, either should you. I don't think I could date a 23-year-old. I had a light crush on one at work, but not suited for relationship. 37. Half plus 7 would mean me. I sincerely can't imagine anything I'd want to speak about do with someone that young in a romantic situation. Oddly, I find the gap both expands in size but the chasm in maturity narrows with aging. Someone 62 dating a 38-year-old seems way less predatory than me dating a 25-year-old. I see an old guy flirting with a woman that much younger. Part of my mind hopes it works out for him. I see a guy my age flirting with a 25-year-old. The vibe is totally different. I'm 23 and people under 20 are off limits for me. I don't think an 18-year-old is usually mature enough to date someone over 20. No MILF ever groomed me. This is bullshit. Well, once. But come on, give me another shot. Once both are 27, it doesn't matter anymore. I think it's good for a rough estimate. But not written in stone. You're dealing with people and emotions. You need to treat them like that. Not like pure numbers.